So today we are going to talk about snakes. And obviously I like snakes. They're amazing. I think that each one is unique and snakes have a horrible rep. So we're going to go over snakes today and we're going to learn about how I overcame my fear of snakes, why you shouldn't fear snakes in the first place, and how you can overcome your fear of snakes. So to me, snakes are so amazing because each one is so unique. Every species has its own color, designs, and they're just gorgeous to look at. But not only that, each snake is unique and they each have their own personality, which may be kind of hard to believe to people that aren't very familiar with reptiles or snakes in particular. But they really do. They each have their own behaviors and they act completely different, and it makes it so entertaining to own them, and it's one of the things that draws me to them and makes me love them so much more. Now, I really haven't always loved snakes. I actually just started liking snakes for the past few years. Up until then, I didn't really like them at all. I thought that they were scary and I didn't trust them, and I thought that if you just hold a snake, they'll just bite your face off, and I just didn't think you could ever trust a snake. But it's really not even a matter of trust. It's just snakes completely rely on instinct. And once you learn that and you're comfortable with their movements and their behaviors, you learn how they work and you know exactly how to keep them comfortable and basically how to avoid getting bitten and to be able to read your snake and just understand by body language how they are feeling. A huge reason that you shouldn't fear snakes is simply because snakes want nothing to do with you. And that's kind of sad for people that own snakes and they love them and they're like, oh my God, no, my snake loves me. Like, kind of don't. You're basically just their warm, big tree that they just climb on, but that's pretty much it. They are never going to go out of their way and try to hurt you or cause you any harm. They see you as the potential predator, so they're afraid of you. And that's why in the wild and even keeping them in captivity, they're always hiding. Some snakes will come out, but for the most part, snakes are just always hiding away, and that's why it's so important to provide them their hides and their enclosures. And it's because they're just trying to stay away from predators and protect themselves. Many movies like Anaconda will make it seem like these snakes are just totally out to get you. They want to come and eat you, or the venomous ones just want to kill you. And that is not it whatsoever. These animals are just purely defensive. They're just trying to protect themselves. And that's only if it just comes to that, because they will literally just avoid you and want nothing to do with you. So you approaching them is when it could cause some potential harm to you. So if you see a snake in the wild, there's no way that snake is gonna just like come and chase you and try to kill you or bite you. It's not gonna happen. I promise you that. And some snakes can be dangerous just because some do have venom. Others can be very, very large, but like you aren't really going to walk out and just see a reticulated python on the sidewalk. So that's not really anything that you have to worry about. If you do live in a location where there are venomous snakes, you just need to be aware of your surroundings because they aren't going to come out at you and try to bite you. That's never going to happen. What will happen is you could potentially walk on top of like their hide or something, or you'll just see one out of nowhere and then realize that it's rattling its tail. If it's a rattlesnake, it'll let you know. So basically, they aren't going to come at you. They'll just want to get away from you, and that is it. There's really nothing to fear with that because they just want to get away. Another huge misconception with snakes is the fact that people think that snakes are going to eat you. And many snakes that are kept as pets, such as like a Brazilian rainbow boa or ball pythons or pretty much all the typical pet snakes, they can't eat people. They just don't get large enough. It's not physically possible, and they do not look at you as a meal. Snakes in captivity are usually just eating mice or rats, and that's pretty much it. So obviously you're bigger than a mouse or a rat, so you don't have to worry about them trying to eat you. If you are keeping a larger snake, it's good to just make sure that you have someone there for backup, just to make sure that it's perfectly safe, because again, they are animals and they are relying on instinct, and if they get scared, they will protect themselves. So it's important to just be responsible about it. If you're keeping a Burmese python, a reticulated python, or an anaconda or something, they obviously get very large, and that's definitely a type of a snake that you want to have backup in case it's needed. Just by saying that though, it doesn't mean that that's something that you really have to worry about. They aren't going to be coming after you trying to kill you. The only time anything bad happens with a snake is if they feel that they are threatened in some way and they need to defend themselves. But other than that, most of the snakes that you're going to see are fairly small and they aren't going to be trying to eat you. They understand when they're being fed. They can smell the rodent. They understand that they aren't going to be attacking you and thinking that you are the food. It's just a huge misconception, and it's something that more people need to just get a better understanding of, because it will definitely reduce the fear factor when it comes to snakes. As you can see, snakes in captivity, like Bowie, they're totally chill. There are occasions where snakes aren't really used to captivity, or they're still babies, so they can be nippy. But again, it just comes to reading their body language, and Bowie here is just always adventuring around and is super sweet. If you're gonna get a pet snake, you should always get captive bred, and that's what's most likely going to be on the market for you to buy. So definitely just go with that. As you can see, Bowie here is just using me as his tree. He's just climbing around, enjoying his day. Her day, I keep mixing it up. I'm never gonna get it right. But Bowie's a total sweetheart and would never hurt anyone. She loves to eat and hide and adventure around, and that's pretty much it. And apparently she wants to say hi. Wow, you're such an evil monster. Look at this monster. So bad. So yeah, we're going to talk about some other snakes today too, because Bowie, as you can see, is amazing. But I have other snakes that are known to bite more often than others, so we're going to go over that too. So I'm back with another snake. This is Vendetta, my baby boa constrictor. A lot of people fear boa constrictors. They think that they get huge and they're super aggressive. They aren't. They're actually one of the most chill. And as you can see, Vendetta is a little sweetheart. So as I said before, you shouldn't fear snakes because they honestly want nothing to do with you, and that's very, very true. The next point that I want to make is that if you want to overcome your fear of snakes, the number one thing that you can do is research and try to understand them as much as you possibly can. So when I was afraid of snakes and I didn't know any better, what I was doing is I was watching YouTube videos. I was just watching people handle them because I wasn't comfortable handling them yet on my own. So I wanted to see how it was done and how you can read their body language. By doing all of this, I was able to learn how easy it is to work with them and then actually apply it on my own through volunteer work. And I got to hold some snakes and I realized how easy it is and how snakes are really not that bad at all. They're little sweethearts to me, and I think that once anyone gets the chance to really understand them, they see how adorable they are. And so many people are going to think that's disgusting and you can't think that a snake is adorable, but they really, really are. They have the cutest little personalities. They're just scared. They're just scared and trying to get away. They don't have any legs or anything. People are afraid of their teeth, but their teeth is all that they have to defend themselves. And we're much bigger than them, so they need those teeth because when they see a huge person approaching, they have nothing else to protect themselves because they're just a little worm. So they need those teeth. So basically just try to find books or YouTube, the internet. There's so many different resources you can find to learn about snakes, learn about their anatomy, their behaviors, and I guarantee that after learning much more about them, you will feel way more comfortable with them and you won't see them as such negative, horrible animals. I think that the main reason that people fear snakes is just simply because they don't understand them and they just aren't aware, and the unknown is scary. And I was honestly afraid of snakes too because they're such a different type of animal and they just move so differently and it's very unfamiliar to many people, and that's what freaks them out. So once you can learn about them and maybe try and apply it and hold them for the first time, you can become more and more comfortable with it, and then that fear will slowly go away over time because you're going to fill all of that fear with actual knowledge. So I own 4 snakes. I have a corn snake, I have a green tree python, a Brazilian rainbow boa, and a boa constrictor. I've had my snakes now for a little over 2 years, maybe 2.5 years now. And I have never been bitten by a snake. So, and I obviously didn't have very much experience. I worked with some from volunteer work or just here and there, just like holding other snakes, but Having my own snake was when I really started to get that experience, and I made sure obviously that I did all my research and I was comfortable with it. And it is possible to own snakes and not get bitten because I still have yet to get bit. So I'd like to keep it that way, but obviously if you get bitten by a snake, it isn't a big deal. It's not going to threaten your life whatsoever. It's totally fine, and it's really nothing to worry about, which should also diminish some of the fear. Metamora is my green tree python. She's my most recent video and I was able to handle her. That type of a snake is known to be really feisty and like they love to bite. And she's actually so calm, so nice. Once you understand their body language, I'm able to take her out and hold her without a single problem. There's absolutely no aggression. So it's just, again, nothing to fear, and there are just so many things out there saying that snakes are just awful and they're scary, and there's like this saying that of course it's gonna bite you because it's a snake, and it's just not true. No matter if it's religion or just whatever you're hearing, I guarantee that it comes from a place of ignorance, as mean as that sounds, but people just don't have an understanding of these animals. So without that understanding, they can't really know what they're talking about. So I think that if you want to overcome your fear of snakes, you definitely should try to do it. Do it in a very safe and responsible way. Try to educate yourself as much as you possibly can, and then maybe step up and maybe hold a friend's snake or someone that you trust, or maybe go to an organization or a pet shop. Just make sure that you're doing it responsibly, and I guarantee that you're gonna have a good experience because of this. And once you have that good experience, you'll realize that all these things that you've been hearing about snakes is just totally false, and you'll have a newfound appreciation and understanding for these animals. So many of these animals are killed every year just because of a lack of understanding, and it's really, really sad. If people understood snakes the same way that they understand other animals, they wouldn't be as hated, and that is a fact. So if you're afraid of snakes, do some research, try to have an experience with them, and I hope that it can change your mind, because they really deserve a chance, and they are beautiful creatures, and I think that they deserve more of an opportunity to be understood, because there's a huge lack of understanding, and that causes a lot of death in snakes, and it's just really sad. We can gain a lot through learning about snakes, and I think that it's definitely worth it. So I hope that this video was helpful, and I hope that if you have a fear of snakes that you can overcome it slowly. Again, just try to be responsible about it. Take it very slow. Don't try to overpressure yourself or do too much at once. Do whatever feels comfortable for you. And if you're trying to get someone else to be comfortable with snakes, don't just throw a snake on them and say, look, it's not killing you, because that's not gonna work. You need to just go slow, do whatever is comfortable for that person with that fear, so that way they can slowly learn and engage with that animal and get rid of that fear and just fill it with knowledge and understanding, and overall just a respect for the animal that they didn't have before. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment. I want to start creating a conversation, so if you have any other ideas on how you can overcome your fear of snakes, leave it in a comment. I want all of us to just start talking about this, and I want to help more people get over their fear of snakes and just have more respect for them. So again, thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.